You are dead asleep when a heavy fist pounds your door. A voice shouts, "Police, welfare check." You lock eyes with the peephole as the shadows of officers flicker on your porch. Right now, one choice changes your life forever. Most people open that door because they think they must. That is the first mistake that leads to a total loss of privacy. Most citizens believe a welfare check, or the emergency aid doctrine, is a routine community service. However, the welfare check excuse has become the ultimate loophole for cops to enter your home without a warrant. In January 2026, the United States Supreme Court may have gutted your Fourth Amendment rights to privacy. In the landmark decision of Case versus Montana, all 9 justices unanimously ruled that police can enter your home without a warrant to render supposedly emergency aid. Police no longer need probable cause. Instead, they only need what the court calls is an objectively reasonable basis to believe someone inside faces imminent serious harm. This phrase replaces the probable cause requirement that the Constitution explicitly requires. Under the traditional constitutional system, police had to go to a judge first to show probable cause and get a judicial warrant signature. That front-end check prevented made-up stories, lies, and sloppy tips from turning into forced entries. Now, the judge only shows up after the fact, after the cops have done the deed. Then once officers cross the door threshold, the plain view doctrine transforms into a legal vacuum for your privacy. Anything the officers see inside and label as suspicious may become the foundation for a full-blown search and a criminal prosecution. Your private residence may be ransacked, property tossed, and your life altered before a judge ever looks at a single piece of paper. This is the reality of back-end judicial review, where the state inflicts the damage first and asks for permission later. I am Larry J. Brookins, a California trial attorney, and welcome to the Four Eyes of Law. Tonight, we deconstruct the welfare check trap. In Case versus Montana, the court's ruling has effectively turned the welfare check into a master key for the government. Your home is no longer the absolute fortress it once was, because the highest court in the land has lowered the bridge for law enforcement. Welfare checks and mental health calls that used to be gentle low-risk affairs now blossom into cops arriving with long guns and ballistic shields. Police do not need a warrant if they have an objectively reasonable belief that someone inside is in immediate danger. But this exception is narrow. It does not apply just because officers feel concerned or curious. There must be specific facts pointing to immediate danger, such as screams, seeing smoke, or observing someone collapse through a window. If the officers cannot articulate those specific facts, their entry may be a violation of your civil rights. The second perilous zone is the silent consent trap. This is the most common way citizens lose their legal standing. Consent does not have to be verbal. If a person steps back from their door or makes the wrong physical gesture, the law may treat it as permission to enter. If you offer the police a chair to sit while you get your ID, it may be treated as a total waiver of your Fourth Amendment protections. Once police are inside, be keenly aware that if they see a glass pipe, a firearm, or medication on your table, they no longer need a warrant to seize them. Plain view can even occur through a window or a crack in the door before they enter. A welfare check for a headache can instantly turn into a felony drug or weapons charge. Please tap the bell and subscribe buttons so others may find this video. And note, this video is for information only and not intended to provide specific legal advice about any case, person, or to establish an attorney-client relationship. So what can you say to keep cops from entering your home? First, do not physically open the door and record everything. Tell officers through the door that you do not consent to entry and ask to see a warrant. Even cracking the door a few inches can be dangerous. Police may thrust a boot in the opening or gang rush the door. It is safer to speak through the closed wooden door, a cracked window, or a security intercom. Some find it best to call the 911 dispatch while the police are still outside and speak to the operator. If the police state they are there for a welfare check, ask, what specific facts lead you to believe there is a medical emergency? This forces them to create a legal record of their justification. If you are the subject of their investigation, simply tell them you are safe and do not need assistance. Next, ask if they have a warrant. If they say yes, ask them to hold it up to your window or slide it beneath the door. If they do not have a warrant and no valid exception applies, they cannot lawfully enter the home. If police decide to breach the door anyway, do not block them or physically resist. Step out of the way, keep your hands visible, and calmly state, "I do not consent to any entry or search." Remember, your doorway is not the place to fight this battle. It is the courtroom with competent legal counsel at your side. Now remember, every case depends on its own unique facts. If this breakdown helped you, tap the bell and hit the subscribe button to the 4 Eyes of Law. Information is your armor to protect your rights and freedom. Thanks for watching, and check out our next video.